my God, Tim.
Over the years. Thank you for being here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in order to bring to you Don Miller's Masters of the Air. Don is here tonight. Don, can you stand up? Don is a historian. He is a master storyteller. I'm going to tell you. Nothing happens without the beginning of the word. Nothing happens without the source material. In this case, nothing happens with a historical narrative record that comes out of the hard work and the mind and the heart and the typing fingers of Mr. Don Miller. The book is Masters of the Air. It is for sale, and guess what? Austin and Callan's picture is all over the cover of the book now. So you'll be out there. Someone's holding up one of the we are here also with the offices as our good friends at Apple. And one of these days, the employees of Apple are going to cease coming up to me and saying, could you please say Apple plus TV? It's not enough in order to say Apple anymore. You must also say Apple plus TV. I am searching for my notes that have the names of the other stuff I'm supposed to say. 1 second of it. I had it in my hands, just off the top of my head. I'm going to thank our gracious overlords at Apple Plus TV. Zach Van Amber, Jamie Ehrlich, Eddie Q is here, ladies and gentlemen. If Tim Cook is not here, the master spirit of Tim Cook is looking over us, checking the time on his watch. Do you have those other names, sir? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Gary Getzman, ladies and gentlemen. The triptych of people that sort of are responsible for this is Gary Getzman, and his partner, Gary Getzman. I'm going to ask anybody who is in the cast or in the crew of all 615 hours of Masters of the Air, stand up right now and take a bow on behalf. This is no small undertaking. It takes years. How many years did we work on this, Gary, from beginning to end? 10 years in the making. The specificity of the people who just stood up, this is the better part of 2 years of their lives that you'll be seeing up on screen. Many months of COVID got this through. So all of those protocols were in place. All of these people there would be no reason for them to be here were it not for a handful of very specific, not just honored guests, but human beings who are worthy of the honor of our attention, regardless of whether or not there was a reason for us to gather here tonight. You will be seeing the true experiences of bona fide human beings. Do not think of them as old men or women. Do not think of them as people who lived the greater part of their lives years ago. Think of them as 19, 20, 21-year-old boys. Think of them as human beings that are dealing with the same desires, wants, needs as you yourself face every single day. When it comes down to how does one stay alive? How does one eat? How does one feel good about how they wake up in the morning? How do they face down the fears that we all face in the course of a regular day? And then add to it a worldwide conflagration in which two empires are trying to enslave the rest of the world because of the color of your skin and the fact that your blood is red. Think of them like that, who are tasked in ways that you will see tonight. We have with us the families of the men who we portray in this series. And I would just like, I'll throw out the names. And if you are a member of the Crosby family, please stand up and let us know. We have also members of the Eden family. Will the Eden family just stand up? Just so comfortable. You don't have to make it up. And you see them? They're just out of high school. They're 20 years old at most. If you were 24 years old and you were served in the 100th bomb group, you know what they called you? Pops. Or professor. We have also with us members of the Clevin family. Will the Clevin family still stand up? Please stand up. We have also the Lemons family. If the Lemons would stand up, we're going to give away. And also we have members of the Rosenthal family. Rosie Rosenthal family. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And who turns down a free night at the movies? Absolutely. Nobody does. We also have with us a group of people who are very much alive and vibrant today, and we could not have made this movie without the series, without their intense participation and the service they had rendered long before we came knocking on our doors. We have the 100 Bomb Group Foundation is with us. Could you stand up and just take a bow? Everybody the great history is in their hands, and they are wildly aggressive about bossing us around so we can get some of the things right. And we apologize right up front for screwing up the places that we screwed up. The shortcuts. When you talk about the 100th bomb group, the 100th, that's how many bomb groups there were, so that's what we're talking about here. And it was known, as you'll find out later on, as the Bloody 100, because understand that every time a group of planes took off during World War II, everybody in that bomb group had a 50% chance of survival. 50%, meaning that they could either go down, they could be wounded, or of course they could lose their lives. 50%. How many things in our lives have such a tragic odds against them? Lastly, we have an extraordinary group of the actual 19 and 20-year-old men who flew in the 100th bomb group. And do not think of them as you see them now. Think of them as kids right out of high school, not yet going off to college and not yet starting their jobs. Because in December of 1941, something happened that made them put their entire lives on hold, and they lived through the stasis of the next 5 years of their life. Why? Because there was a worldwide conflagration that asked something of every single human being who was alive, and certainly every single American. I would like to introduce to you, and we're going to give them a couple of seconds to stand up, because it is 2024. It's not 1942 anymore. But understand, we're going to give these former high schoolers a couple of seconds, perhaps just to stand up and tip their caps. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 100 Bomb Group, veterans of the Great War, we have James Rasmussen. James? give us a salute. All right. Mr. Hank Cervantes, a veteran of the 100 Congress. And finally, John Lucky Luckadoo is ready. There is something, you can't just use it as unique to be in the presence of someone who has witnessed a brand of history that those four men have witnessed. And let's understand something about them. They just did what they needed to do. They just volunteered for what needed to be done. They are an example to anyone, to all of us, to weigh our own individual integrity, our own individual needs, and also our own individual abilities and fears, and do the right thing. Those four men did the right thing. And they came back to us. Thank you guys for coming back. Now I would like to bring up the man who really is the reason that I am here and that we all are here. A great visionary who sees in the potential of what we have as source material as not just an event to get together, but also the makings of a timeless, ongoing, and important story that his vision and his abilities and his innate instincts bring forward like truly no one else in the industry or in the sciences or in the art of cinema can, who will also bring to us a different, very particular perspective of why we are all here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steven Spielberg.
Thank you. Thank you. Tom and I have made a lot of movies together, and it's a lot easier for him to follow me than it is for me to follow him just tonight. But I'm honored to be your partner, Tom, in film and in history. And the combination of film and history is something that I think we like to do better than anything else, because it's all about honoring the past, which is something that is so easily forgotten when there are so many distractions today. This sort of began when Tom and I did Band of Brothers. I showed it to my father, and he loved it. My dad was a veteran. He was he was in the Army Air Corps. He was in B-25 Mitchell bombers. He fought for the 490th Bomb Squadron over Burma. And my dad was very proud of his service. He enlisted after Pearl Harbor in 1942. He served in 1945. And he's the one that instilled in me the importance of giving honor to these 19, 20-year-old kids who are the veterans that we here are tonight to honor, as represented by the individual performing artists who represent all of them, which you'll see very, very soon. But my dad, when he saw Band of Brothers, he said, gee, Steve, I really like this. I really like this series, this great series. When are you going to do the Air Force? And I said, I'm not sure, Dad, but we got another one cooking. So about 5 years later, we went off and we did the story of the Pacific War called The Pacific, and which is something we're very proud of. And I showed it to my dad, and my dad loved it as much as he loved Band of Brothers. But he said, Steve, when do you do the Air Force? And I said, but there's planes in every island. Was it the B-29s took off from Okinawa to do sorties over Japan? Yeah, but when do you tell our story? The story of the airmen in the United States Army Air Corps. And I went to Tom, and I said, what about it, Tom? Should we do one more? And Tom said, absolutely. That's how this whole thing got started. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, Dad. And I'll give it back to you.
And let's remember, folks, it's not just Apple, it's Apple Plus TV. Thank you for the show.